Cerrone, you agree right now the Celtics on the Cerrone Battle big board, the Celtics are number one?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Tatum, your MVP favorite?
Yes.
Okay. Yet you're still not totally all in with the way that they're playing or the whole makeup of the situation over
No,
there.
I don't think I'm not. Look, I know they're 9-2. They're good. They had a 50-point win so far this season. And yet the way they're playing basketball, they're playing as a team, they're moving the ball, they're playing defense. I'm loving all of that. I don't like this settling. They settle too much. And they don't have to. This team is not made that way. They're a large team. This isn't the Warriors where they're led by two guards.
And when you say settle, you mean the three-point shot.
3-point shots. Settling way too much. If you look at the efficiency from Porzingis, from Tatum, and these other guys, inside the three-point line, they're dominant. And it's similar to a Super Bowl caliber team with a run game. Like, you can run the football. You don't have to throw it 50 times. You got, Emmitt Smith. This team is that good to where they can dominate inside and out. And I think for this team to win a championship, you can shoot the 40, 50 threes now, but in the playoffs, things get tight. Refs allow guys to contest more. It's harder to come by. You keep getting beat by Jimmy Butler, who doesn't shoot threes at all. Why? Because he takes the easiest shot possible. I'm gonna take the mismatch with Pritchard. I'm gonna take the easy 10, 15-footer. And those are the teams that keep beating you. The Milwaukee Bucks, man, how come we can't stop them? Because Giannis is not going to stand there and shoot 10 threes. He's going to just stay in the paint, put you in foul trouble, and get everybody else going. And I think this Celtics team is too talented from the inside to be like on Orlando or Washington or these teams that don't have talent, that shoot a bunch of threes. And I think their reluctance to adjust and change, starting with the head coach, snapping, like I mentioned earlier, snapping back at reporters about taking too many threes. And 2016, you said that, they didn't win 2016 either. I think that's going to be the thing that stops this team. If they play to their strengths, I think you're looking at one of the best teams we've ever seen from this franchise. But I still not sold. I'm not sold that they will play to their strengths the rest of the season and throughout the playoffs.
Coaching an issue.
Yeah, I think it is. I'm not the biggest fan of Missoula. I'm not at all. And I kind of think they weren't either. And that's why you see
they being the players or the franchise itself?
I think both. Because I think that's why you see the Sam Cassell pop up. A guy who's been mentioned as a head coach for the past few years. All of a sudden, the Sam Cassell pops up, and you're like, man, something looks different. And the easy target is to say, Marcus Smart's not there. He had nothing to do with the bigs. He had nothing to do with the way everybody else was playing. I think you brought in some assistant coaches, something that they were lacking last year, guys left or whatever. But when you bring in a Sam Cassell, look at some of these plays after the play or when they didn't score. Sam is pulling some guy to the side. Hey, man, you do this, 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 and this. I don't think Missoula has that. I think he's young. I don't think he is very young. But Sam's somebody who played in the league. This is something I think that's big for the Celtics in every sport. We got to get away from the numbers people and get people who know the game back into the game itself. Bringing in a Van Gundy, bringing in a Sam Cassell, and all of a sudden things look different. And I think those guys there, I kind of feel, no source, no nothing whatsoever. I kind of think they were insurance policies. I think Sam Cassell is there in case things kind of go off the tracks as time goes on.
I'm curious, like we talk about, I guess I'm surprised that maybe Joe Mazzulla would have that kind of power when you consider, like, he was handpicked by Brad Stevens. I would think there would be Brad Stevens would influence Joe to a point like, hey, look, I know you like the analytics, but let's we have a team. I mean, it looks like this team, that can do the mid-range game. I mean, with Drew and Derek White,
they're probably the best in the league.
But you know what I think? I think Missoula's just carrying out what the organization wants. I think the organization is heavily invested in the analytics. Now, Missoula so
Brad Stevens is signing off on all
absolutely.
This.
And Zarins, or Jimmy, Stewart can tell me better. Is it Zarins who's like the numbers guy?
Mike Zarin, yeah.
Like Zarin. Like, I think they have sold out whole cloth to the analytics. I just think Missoula comes across as like nuts about it because he's kind of nuts and he doesn't know how to couch things and he's awkward and intense and kind of paranoid or sensitive or whatever he is, right? He's got that. He's tightly wound. So it feels like this is his thing. I just think, and I think part of the reason they picked him is because they want him to execute what the front office has come up with. And they're not alone. This is what the league is. Mm-hmm. So I don't blame Mazzulla for it. I just think he's the guy that's executing it.
And I think you might be right. It could be above Mazzulla, and he's just doing what they want him to do. But I think then all of them are going to be responsible for this team not winning a championship. If you look at the way the game was when it was a guard league 5 years ago, it was a guard league. It was Dame, it was Steph, it was Kyrie Irving. These were considered the best players. And Luka. Look at the last 5 MVPs. They're all centers. Look at your finals MVP, your champion, the most dominant player in the league. Should be 3-time MVP, Jokic. The game has gone back to being inside. You're not going to beat Denver shooting a bunch of threes. You're barely going to beat Philly and Milwaukee shooting 3-pointers. You're going to have to match them inside because they're going to do it to you.
Well, let me just stop you real quick because you mentioned Milwaukee. I know when the Lillard trade happened, you're one of the few guys that said this isn't going to work in Milwaukee. And I've been watching them. It's not working, Cerrone. I don't know if they figured it out, but you were right about that. Just watch. Giannis and Lillard can't play together, or they haven't. They have no idea what to do without the ball. They have no idea what to do when they're both on the floor together. They're literally just one guy takes over, the other guy takes over, and that's it. And I feel like the whole thing is bogged down. Like Middleton doesn't know where to go. No one knows where to go. And Giannis will still drop 50 on you, and Lillard will drop 40 on you, but it's not like they're running anything or playing together. It does not look right out there.
Because they haven't done something I think the Celtics team has done so far, which is sacrifice. Dame hasn't sacrificed. Dame's still trying to be Dame. It's still trying to be Dame time. I'm going to get mines. I'm going to play all 30 feet away and do all this. Whereas for them to be a champion, Dame has to be John Stockton.
Let me tell you, Giannis doesn't know how to do it either, though.
No.
I'm telling you, when he doesn't have the ball, he just stands there. And, and I don't know if Giannis knows how to do it. I mean, I felt like he and Middleton would play off each other a little bit, but not greatly. It's really just the Giannis show, or late in the game they would set up Middleton for a shot because Giannis can't be that guy. Either way, it's not working.
Because you're asking a guy to do something he's never done. He was drafted as a kid, and they've told him, all right, you get the ball, you're going to have the highest usage rate, you're going to have the ball in your hands the whole time. He's done that every single day he's played professional basketball. And now, October, hey, stop doing that. Go in the post. Go set screens. Go move. It's like no one's ever taught me how to do that.
Yeah, I don't think he knows. That's what I was going to say. I don't think Giannis knows how to do it. I think Lillard's just not wired that way. Yeah. He's wired as the North American basketball superstar who just wants to get his
Weber State. Yeah. I have to have the ball in my hands the whole time in college. I get to Portland. I got to have the ball in my hands the whole time. And now you're telling me I don't need the ball in my hands. It's an adjustment. Whereas this Celtics team, no one's doing anything out of the ordinary on this team. They just figured out, like, hey, we got the mismatch. We're going to work it. They move the ball well, and they're all committed and bought into playing different. But, I mean, I think the Suns are another team. You see the Clippers, it's a mess, even though they got 4 stars.
Of course.
It's a mess because none of them want to sacrifice. They also want to be themselves.
Wait a minute. You're saying Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George wouldn't work together? Who could ever have thought that?
And who thought it'd be a good idea to bring them all home where they're from? They're all in their hometown with their own set of friends and entourage, all wanting to be the man in front of their own friends and family, and you're wondering why it's not working. It's just no. It's if they were in San Antonio, it might work, but you can't put 4 LA kids, LA superstars in LA with the ball and say, hey, share it. It's not going to work.
So what's the biggest threat in the East for the Celtics? Is it still Milwaukee if they figure it out? Obviously, if they figure it out, but
I think Milwaukee can figure it out. I think Milwaukee's talent can still keep them in it. I don't think listen, the 76ers look good early on, but every year you got a couple teams that, I'm going to show you how good. No one's picking them. They play playoff basketball in November. That was the Sixers. There's a few teams that do that, but they can't go any further than that. I think right now it still is the Milwaukee Bucks, but I think the real threat to the Celtics is over in the Western Conference, and I think it's still the Denver Nuggets.
Yes, Jimmy?
I still think the Miami Heat are a threat to the Celtics. They're 8-4 right now. And Zach LaVine is going to move to either the Lakers or the Heat. So keep an eye on that because Zach LaVine going to the Heat gives them another scoring option, instant offense. And that's a Felger player right there, Zach LaVine.
Yeah, no, he plays with force.
Zach LaVine is tough.
There's another shoe to drop there in Miami because they were counting on Lillard. That obviously didn't happen. So they've got something in their back pocket or they've got a move to make there. And so right now, the Felger big board, Celtics, Sixers, Heat, Bucks. Like, that's why I don't think the Bucks beat Miami right now. I don't think they beat Philly right now, and I don't think they're close. I've watched the Celtics. I've watched the Bucks, and it's not close right now.
No, it's not close. And the scary thing about the Celtics is I think they can get better. They're going to gel more. When they get 40, 50 games in, they're going to be a wagon. And I think that's where the Denver Nuggets are now, because they've had that 5 for a couple years now. They know where everybody's at without even thinking. They're winning without Murray even being there. They're dominant because they're reacting. They're not just, this is what we do. It's natural. And I think the Celtics have to get to that level if they're going to be a champion. But they got to stay away from that 3-point line.
Okay, it's an agenda for good luck with that.